Hello, welcome to the Manic Pixie Dream Vlog. I'm your host Caroline Georges, and welcome today. So I went to open mics yesterday, and I went with a friend, and I talked about her before. She's amazing. She's really an amazing person. She's a comic, and she does comedy. She's very good. She's in school, and she has 2 jobs, and she doesn't have a car. And, and I just, God, like, I have nothing but respect for this woman and her endurance and stuff and just her ability to just kick ass and just rise to the occasion, because it's like her load is so heavy, and the fact that she can still excel at comedy with such a heavy load on her shoulders, all this responsibility is so amazing to me. But she told me a really disturbing story yesterday. That just has me feeling a lot. So when she was 2 months into comedy, 2 months in, she's a very good comic and stuff, but she's been doing it for a year now and stuff. So when she was 2 months in, I'm sorry, but she probably wasn't very good. She was probably still very amateurish. And she probably still had a ways to go before she got booked on a show at the Comedy Store. But when she was 2 months into comedy, still doing open mics, she met a man on Tinder who turns out he was a booker for the Comedy Store, as well as numerous other clubs in Los Angeles. This man books comedy shows for multiple clubs in Los Angeles, including the Comedy Store. She met him on Tinder. And you know what? He knew that she was a comic. I think she had a photo of herself doing stand-up in one of her photos, on one of her profile photos on Instagram, or on Tinder. So he booked her. Over Tinder, on Tinder. This comedy booker, this professional comedy booker who books shows at the Comedy Store, Haha, and Ice House, and multiple clubs all over Los Angeles, booked a girl he met on Tinder. Didn't see her comedy, didn't... So anyways, the story continues. So he gave her 10 minutes at a booked spot at the Comedy Store when she was 2 months into comedy. Now look, here's the thing, like, she got booked. Good for her. 2 months into comedy, great for her. Awesome. Go for it. Good job. But can I really say that? Is that true? Did she deserve that 10-minute spot at the Comedy Store when she was 2 months into comedy? She probably didn't. She probably had no business being on the stage at the Comedy Store 2 months into comedy. And, but she did it. He gave her 10 minutes. And then when they were talking, before she was going on, he asked her out on a date. And she turned him down. She said no. He got pissy. He got a little agitated. It's like, bitch, like, we met on Tinder. Fucking shit. Like, I booked you at the Comedy Store. You're not going to go out with me. He got defensive. He started acting up. He started being kind of rude to her, like short with her. And so she got on stage and he lit her after only a few minutes. He lit her. And she didn't know what to do. She was under the impression that she had 10 minutes. So she just did her 10-minute set, and got off stage. And the guy was pissed at her. He was like, you ran the light. She was just like, oh, okay. How long? I'm sorry, it won't happen again. And he was like, you ran the light by 5 minutes. And she was like, what? I thought you gave that was like 10 minutes of material. And he says, I decided to give you 5 because we have a full show. So without telling her, he cut her time in half. She went on stage not knowing how much time she had to do on stage. And so she did the time that she thought that she had, and then the guy got pissed at her for it. So this woman has no professional connection with this man anymore. You know, that there's bad blood there. There's a bad situation between them. But does this man have any business working in the comedy industry? He's not booking women off of talent, off of ability, off of hard work. He's booking women that he meets on Tinder who are 2 months into comedy. I just, you know, with the whole Me Too movement and stuff, everyone thought there was this big change, and there wasn't. There wasn't a big change. There are still predatory men abusing the system. It's still unfair to women. You know what? I'm sorry. I love my friend, and I'm so glad that she got to perform at this Comedy Store 2 months in, and she'll always have that, and she'll always be able to say that for the rest of her life, for the rest of her career, and she can always be proud of that, and good for her. You know, she did it. She performed at the Comedy Store 2 months into comedy. You know, and that'll be a claim to fame for her, you know? Like, that's something that she can brag about for the rest of her life, and good for her. You know? But at the same time, there were so many other female comics at the time who had been working a lot longer, a lot harder, and were more talented and had a better ability and had better material that they could bring to the stage that a girl who was 2 months into comedy couldn't. Those women didn't get booked that spot. A girl that a booker met on Tinder got that spot. That's not fair. That's really not fucking fair. Could you imagine, like, I mean, I'm sorry, being like a female comic, and being a female comic is hard enough, y'all. Being a female comic, being a woman in comedy is not easy. It's hard. You know how much shit I get from men because I'm a stripper? You know, I was fucking hosting an open mic. I was hosting an open mic. And I started crying because every male comic that got on stage started giving me mean shit about stripping. And I had to go to the bathroom and I had to cry. And then Joe, who's my boss at the comedy cafe, he like had to tell everyone, like, seriously, enough with the stripper shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? It's hard enough being a female comic in the comedy scene. It is hard enough. It is. And I'm not even talking, I mean, I get shit from female comics. You know how judged I am? You know how much I get judged? You'd think that these women would, like, who are like big feminist comics and stuff would be more, you know, would be more understanding towards someone in my situation. But there's so many female comics, women that call themselves feminists, who are not nice to me because I'm a stripper. Anyways, but what are we going to do? Comedy is important. I respect comedy. You know, and there's things that I have to think about now that I wasn't even thinking about before, because, you know, you hear like, you hear a lot about female comics like sleeping with people and stuff, and like, you know, being really flirtatious and stuff. And you hear rumors about girls all the time, like, oh, so-and-so slept with this booker, so-and-so like hooked up with this comic, and this comic. And then afterwards she got a show. You know, you hear rumors all the time and stuff. And it's like, oh, holy shit. Like, I want to date comics. Like, I want to date people in the comedy industry. I love comedy. You know? Does that mean I have to think about people judging me? Does that mean I have to think about any success I acquire in my life that I worked really hard for? You know, I am working. I went to 8 mics last night. 8 open mics. That was 8 hours of comedy that I had to go through yesterday. And I started in the afternoon and I stopped at midnight. You know, and it's like, I'm working so hard You know what I mean? And it's like, but no, that hard work doesn't fucking matter, because you know what? In order to get booked, all I have to do is resort to going back to being a fucking stripper. I just have to flirt with guys, you know, I just have to, you know, be sexual with guys. I just have to sleep with guys, and then I'll get booked, and then I'll be a successful comic. That's all I have to do. Easy peasy. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a fucking stripper anymore. I left, I became a comic so I didn't have to be a fucking stripper anymore. You know? I don't want to have to be a fucking stripper anymore. I want to get booked because I'm talented. I want to get booked because I'm good. And I want to date comics too, you know? But at the same time, I'm faced with the reality that there are men that are booking female comics that they meet on Tinder. And I have to compete with that. As a female comic, I have to compete with that. I have to compete with girls on Tinder to get booked on shows. I have this man's name. Who wants to know this man's name? Who wants to know who this guy is so that they can get him out and they can have him fired because he's booking women that he meets on Tinder? That guy shouldn't be booking comics. He shouldn't be booking shows. What a corruption. What a corruption. That is corruption. You know, and going back to my friend, you know, maybe it's not something that she can be proud of. Maybe it's something for the rest of her life, for the rest of her comedy career. She's going to have to tell herself, the only reason why I got booked at my first show at the Comedy Store was because a guy wanted to fuck me. That was the only reason I got booked at a show at the Comedy Store. My first show at the Comedy Store, I only got because somebody wanted to fuck me. She didn't get it because she was talented. She didn't get it because she worked hard. She didn't get it because she was doing comedy for months, years. She got booked because he met her on Tinder and he liked the way she looked. And this man retaliated and became kind of abusive towards her when she rejected him. But I'm sorry, it's like you get booked at a spot at the Comedy Store. Some guy books you. Are you going to say no? Because it's like, oh, well, he's only giving this to me because he wants to sleep with me. I'm sorry, but it's just like, I couldn't turn that down. I'm sorry, but if I got booked at a show and I knew the only reason why I got booked on the show is because a guy wanted to sleep with me, I mean, I'm sorry, but I would still do it. Of course I would still do it. Why not? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's not there. Maybe there's no honor in that, you know. And maybe I like there are women that have more integrity than that. But I mean, at the same time, like I got booked at a show at UCB because I was dating the guy who was booking it. And on this show, you know, I followed a really big comic. And I still did pretty good, but still, it's like, I knew I wasn't as good as the other comics on the stage. I just knew I wasn't as good as a lot of the other comics that were on that stage. And when I did okay and I got laughs and I held my own, and that I'm really proud of that. But still, did I not deserve that spot? Was that not really my spot? Did I take a spot from another person who deserved it more than me? Because I was dating the guy who was booking for it. You know, and I've been thinking about my stepbrother, my situation with my stepbrother, and how he's going to support me and stuff, and kind of thinking, like, should I feel bad about that? Should I feel guilty? Am I not an adult? Am I not... am I a dependent, you know? Am I a dependent person? But you know, the thing is, I helped raise my stepbrother. My stepbrother would not be the man he is today if it weren't for me. I am a defining thing in my stepbrother's childhood. And, you know, when I was visiting with him and stuff, it just all went back into place. It was just like it was in high school. It was just like it was in junior high. It was just like it was in grade school. We were best friends again. And we talked, you know, I gave him a pep talk, told him how amazing he is, told him everything about him that's very true. It's true about a lot of people, you know, but people need to hear that, you know, and they need to hear it from certain people. I know it matters to my stepbrother when I tell him how amazing he is, you know. I know it matters to him that I think he's amazing. You know, and it's like, gosh, I wish men loved women more. I really do. I really wish men loved women more. Because look at what women, to the men watching this, look at what women do for you. Look at all of the shit women are doing for you. We're your wives, we're your daughters, we're your muses. Look at what we're doing for you. Please, let's create a world where girls aren't getting booked because they're pretty. Girls are getting booked because they're talented. Can we just do more to even the odds for women? And can we start with the comedy scene? Because, you know, men are not getting booked because some female booker met him on Tinder. That's not happening. It's very different, the situations. Anyways, like and subscribe and share. Have a lovely day. Oh, and by the way, I have some good news. You know the guy I hooked up with the other night? And he didn't buy me a second beer? Well, he got hit by a car. No, I'm sorry. I'll end with this. Like, he got hit by a fucking car yesterday. He was like posting the photos of himself on Instagram of him in the ER. And, oh my God, but you know what? I don't know. That really has nothing to do with anything, but I don't know. It's just like, I'm not happy that the guy got hit by a car. But at the same time, you know, it's just like, oh, well, that's what he gets. Anyways, so that's the end of that. All right, well, have a lovely day. Like and subscribe and share. Bye.